Turn my TV off. Hello, everyone. This is Podcast with Friends, the animating edition. And oh shit, that intro sucked. Just like my life. I mean, I'm kidding. Yeah, sarcastic clap. Anyways, we got our good friend Minty Root here.
Hi.
And him and I will be talking about animations and what causes them to come alive and how long it takes and so on and so on and so on. So yeah, I guess since you're the only guest we got here, so right now until the others join, you can hit the floor. Like show us how long have you been animating for?
Oh my god. Okay, I've been animating. Well, depends what you mean by animating. Basically, I started back when I basically got access to my father's laptop, and I found out you probably used PowerPoint in the past.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You've probably also remembered all the transitions you tried to do, like to switch from slides to have objects just come at the screen by moving some presets, and then abusing it to, and then realizing, yeah, you make PowerPoints and you're told not to use those things, despite the fact that they put them straight in front of you. Like, it's tempting. My first animation stuff that I ever done was just me trying to make a little cartoon about a guy who basically signs up for a race and then he wins. The end.
Oh,
it's the pinnacle of storytelling, I'm telling you.
Nice. Well, you all got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and basically for a while I was wondering what to do. My father introduced me to Visual Basic, so I got to learn a bit of programming and a bit how to use a computer. So I started making my own little video games with it. One of the ones that actually impressed him was one that used a stationary bike, a real one, not basically, I managed to make a real stationary bike work with the computer. So it just pedal on the bike, and as it would go on the computer, you'd actually see the road actually scroll. And the actual road itself was just like 2 or 3 frames that I made in almost MS Paint that would just scroll. And that was my first real game that I actually did on my own. And my father was impressed, was wondering, how the hell did you manage to connect the bike on the computer? Until I just showed him, I just showed the wheel that was stuck. And I basically put the computer mouse right at the right place. And every time the wheel would actually turn, it would actually click on the button. And I don't even know if I figured that out, but I managed to have some kind of approximation of the speed it would go.
Really?
By realizing that if it's called kilometers per hour, I guess I can flip it backwards, and just assume by the time it takes between every click to do an estimate of the speed.
Nice.
So basically, I was doing that for a while, and I was wondering, what can I do with my stuff? I was talking with a friend, and we started making some kind of stupid games, this time in PowerPoint, because I realized that one of the features is that you can click on a button in a PowerPoint to put you in a different slide. And I realized that they also offered an option where just putting your pointer on that button would actually send you to that slide. So I realized that I could use it for some kind of mouse avoider games. You know, those games where you basically just followed some kind of path without touching the edges?
Yes.
Basically, I did that, but in PowerPoint. Most people used Flash for those, but I realized that I could actually do it on my own. So we made some kind of weird game that was basically that, with the main character going up a tower and trying at the top of the tower to actually blow up the tower because for some reason the tower was bad.
You wait. You started making your animations on video games?
No. I've started making games, and that actually got me interested in making animation because I
Oh,
had to make some cutscenes. And one of the craziest things was when you remember Beyblade?
yeah. I remember Beyblade. Oh, and by
Oh
the way,
my!
hi Alexia.
Hey,
Oh, yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
We're recording. Yeah.
I was basically about to tell a bit how the hell I became what I am right now.
Oh, yes,
And
continue.
yeah, so yeah, basically when Beyblade was a thing that people talked about, there was a cartoon and there was
I remember that.
there was the scenes where you could actually see the tops, and after the second season, well, actually after the first one, they started switching the tops to 3D models. So I was just thinking, hey, that kind of looks cool. Maybe I could try to do my own, because that was something that didn't look hard to draw. And back then, I was scared of the idea of drawing anything, especially in a computer, because back then, computer tablets was not something very well known. The only thing I really had that I could actually draw was my father's personal digital assistant, because you could actually sketch a bit on it, but it was kind of cumbersome. It didn't really have many options. But basically, I did that. I showed that to some of my classmates back in elementary school, and they were not that impressed. But then again, if it's not one of those 3D video games that was, becoming big at the time, I kind of see why they wouldn't be that impressed. And back in let's say 26, but back in 2006, I decided to argue with my dad. We should get a better computer because the computer we had was really, really aging. And I was basically telling him, Dad, you're a computer science teacher. You teach people how to program on a computer, and the computer we have is aging. We deserve a bit better. And he got us something really impressive. He yeah, I mean, I got to win an argument against my father, which is already impressive. He got us a computer that could actually record television.
Oh, nice.
And obviously my mom took it a lot because she had lots of stuff she wanted to watch on it, which, I don't blame her, but we only had a 300 gigs hard drive, so it got full very fast.
Wow.
And my father was teaching stuff about computers, and he had books about Flash, because back then Flash was used as basically as a tool to create websites. Websites with very rudimentary animations. So at the time, I decided to try myself, and around 2008, I decided to release stuff online. And one of the reasons why I was that interested in Flash was
damn it, you started your YouTube channel a year before I did, so you have more experience. God damn it.
Are you kidding me? I was on Newgrounds back in 2008. I started YouTube in 2013.
Oh.
Okay, so ever owned a PSP? Actually, ever owned a PSP?
PSP? Yes, I have.
Okay, the web browser that they had on it, have you ever used it?
Oh yeah, it was kind of neat.
It was kind of but you could actually run Flash stuff. So I decided to learn Flash because I wanted to do stuff that you could actually play on it. And yeah, back then you could have like 12 FPS, no effects at all. It was very limited, and you had to make sure that anything you would make would be under 1.5 megabytes, because otherwise otherwise it would just crash. And basically that was the thing I was doing back then. I decided to make sprite animation movies, because video game sprites were not too hard to find. They didn't imply that I would need to draw a lot. And I made my own stuff. And yeah, have you heard of Super Mario Bros. Z?
Z?
Z, yeah, it was basically some guy who decided to make a crossover between Sonic and Mario, inspired by Dragon Ball Z. And it basically followed the aesthetics of the video games, since he was doing that as a sprite movie. And he made a very action-packed series. And I was just thinking, wow, he made a series that was more interesting than anything I was watching on TV at the time.
Oh shit!
Of course, he didn't make as many episodes as most TV series because he was only one guy, and also because he was trying to cram as much action as he could. So it's not something you would be able to do on a TV budget. But to me, it was impressive, and I wanted to do that. The problem is everybody else was wanting to do that. The same freaking thing, but with the thing changed. Like, there was some guys who was doing the exact same thing, but also putting Mega Man in the series. There were some that decided, oh, Sonic is not going to be in that story, just going to be about Mario. Some people decided to put Kirby. It was basically just rip-offs of the same concept. And, well, I say rip-offs, but a lot of the cues that they put in the animation, the way that they did the fight scenes, the way that they did the text box, because back then you didn't have any voice acting, everybody was doing the same, except me for some reason, because back then I sucked so much at fight scenes, I just thought, okay, I'm gonna make it dramatic in another way. Like, the main character is gonna be conflicted, like for real. So I basically made a series about Yoshi that was then basically around other Yoshis, and I was just thinking, hey, that's kind of different, because Yoshis were very cute. I just thought, hey, let's make something badass with them. So I made my own series, and I did that for 5 episodes and a half until I discovered the Brony fandom.
What was your series called?
Yuki's Story. Yeah, I think there's someone who re-uploaded some on YouTube, but I decided not to upload it on YouTube because Nintendo is a very copyright strikey kind of people.
Oh yeah, definitely. They even get mad if you record some of their games.
Yeah, and fan content is also very bad for them, so I decided not to go with that. But when I found out my best friend was a brony, I just realized, hey, maybe I'm gonna like that show. And then I found out that it was animated in Flash, so I was quite curious about it. So I decided to do what nobody else would do. I sent a panel to BronyCon 2013 about Flash animation and pony animation to go talk to people about how to animate in Flash. The problem, when I sent that application, I didn't know shit about pony animation. So, and they accepted. So I for a long, for that 6 months that there was between the approval and the actual panel, I learned all I could to actually get a panel that could be interesting. Mm-hmm. And the panel was, yeah, it was kind of a mess.
Yeah, because it was just a panel.
Yeah, I shouldn't have packed that much stuff. I should have given myself time for Q&A. But that's how Project Undercloud became. That was me just trying myself out with ponies. And if you see the way it's basically made, except the last shot, everything else is voiceover.
The thing is, Minty, when I first discovered your channel, I'm like, holy shit, the scenery that you use for the pony videos is fantastic. I mean, like, you almost have like a 2D in a 3D type world.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things I've done for a long time. Basically, when I was a kid, one of the things that I was really loving was when cartoons would actually have 3D camera movements in their scenes. And there was some cartoons that would actually get to be able to do that. So just the idea of actually, waiting for that scene, because back then, I could have recorded them on the VHS, but I didn't bother. But back then, just knowing, okay, that episode has one of those shots. I'm staring at it. I'm not blinking once, just to be able to see that shot. Because when I'll be old, I'll do that on my own, and it's gonna be cool.
It'll probably be all virtual reality when you're old.
Oh my god. Virtual reality is interesting, but the problem is that you kind of lose the actual shape of the frame. You cannot frame your events in the same way with virtual reality and on a movie screen.
Yeah. What about you, Alexia? Sorry to interrupt you, Minty. What about you, Alexia? You've been kind of quiet.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I just loved hearing Minty's story. That was interesting. But anyways, what is it?
What inspires you to do your animatics?
Oh, okay. So
did her mic cut out? Minty, did her mic cut out?
I think so.
Her mic cut out.
Shit, what do we do?
wait, is it working now?
Yes. Sorry.
What the heck happened? Okay.
I was just gonna say we got.
But anyway,
go ahead.
So what I mean is that making animatics is just easier for me anyway. It just takes less time, and it really just helps get your story across. And I like doodling as it is. So like unfortunately I don't have the time to like progress further into animation. So like I like to stick in animatics.
That's like Minty. Animatics is like the beginning of starting animation, right? Is it like?
Yeah. Think of it as a rough draft of how you would do the actual scene.
And plus, I'm a planner too. I'm usually a person that likes planning.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of stuff you can actually get done just by planning ahead. If you look, for example, in Luna's determination, there's something that just the bare fact that I decided to go with an animatic first helped. Just the fact that I framed Luna always on the left side of the frame whenever she was with Star Swirl was something that you can actually get done without an animatic, but it's not something you would think about, because you basically start doing your shots and you're wondering, where do I frame this character? Where do I frame this other character? What are their relationship within the frame? Do I keep some kind of pattern that people start to get used to? Do I go with close-ups? Do I cut at that moment or not? It's all stuff you would not be... it's all stuff that if you don't work with animatic, it's stuff you wouldn't think as hard. And there's some movies that just the fact that you go and you actually storyboard them first, it's going to save you a lot of money, because there's for example, there's scenes where you can just rely on close-ups and you don't have to worry about creating the entire set behind you. Yeah.
Okay, so both of you, the only time I actually animated something, this was back in 2009 when I was taking course on animation. I had to make a 1 minute long animation. It was like the final project of the year. It was like the main thing for the semester, right? Of the whole course. I had to make it from scratch. I had to draw it out on the computer. I had to edit it software. But we weren't doing audio. It was just like a still motion type of shot. Like it was 2D, and I made like the South Park thing. I drew a character walking down the street, then going into his house, and the door would open and close behind him. And it took me about 15 or 16 tries to just get that one simple doodle thing I made to look nice. I was 19 when I did that. Yeah, and it takes a long time to even do the simplest of animations. So it's hard work.
Yep. Although one of the things with animation is that it's some kind of stuff that gets easier as it goes.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't get easy.
No.
You learn the flow, for example, the feel of animation. When too many frames, what can be done in a snappy way, what needs an arc and what needs a straight line.
Yep. Okay, so this question is for, okay, hold on. Before I continue with this, let's see if the fans got anything interesting to say. I'll check the live chat. Because guys, in my chat, if you got any questions for Minty or Alexia here or myself, you can answer them right now for a little bit. Destroyer says, I got an idea for an animation. Drawn trying to go. No.
Skadoodle, skadoodle. Your dick is now a doodle.
And it's Firestorm.
Hello.
Minty?
That was the best thing ever.
Hey.
Remember
Hello.
Firestorm?
Maybe. Wait, when was the last time?
I kind of run into him from different projects.
It was from, I think the last time we talked was in Ben.
It's been a while, damn.
Yeah. Fire does animation herself too.
Only at school. Sadly.
Only in school?
Yep.
That was sadly with me too.
Sadly, I can't bring that computer at home with me.
Okay, so anyways, let's ask, here's the next question. This goes for all three of you. What was the hardest animation video you've ever done? Like the hardest one?
Who wants to go first?
Fire, I think you should because you just entered the call.
You noodle.
I'm sorry. Spotlight's on you.
Pressure.
Because I know Minty's probably got a lot.
Oh my god. Well, while you go with that, I'll try to find the top one.
Okay. Okay, Fire, you go first.
No. Well, for me, having to do like an animation video from, let's see, last year, I had to do a project with a group of people, like about 16 people. I don't know why 16, but mostly a lot of them didn't do their job. And you know, one of those people who just basically they just say, oh, I forgot to do that. I was too busy to do that. And I'm like, what? It's been like freaking 5 weeks. How do you not have time to do that? And I see them like read my messages. Some of them read my messages, but they don't answer. So that was a big problem with some other people. So basically, it was only 5 people working with me in the project.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest parts is, though, basically, how should I say this? I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Don't worry, this is a long video. I got plenty of time.
Oh shit.
And I'm pretty sure Minty's still searching his files.
Hang on, give me a minute.
2 hours later.
2 hours later. That's basically how it is. But for me, having to like put on the layers for the people to put it together, and it took hours to like figure out what should we put down. Basically storyboards.
Oh, God.
We were trying to do ideas like what should we do for the story. The worst part is getting the audio into the frames, the the animatic and to the animation.
The audio, I think, is the hardest part of the animations. One of them.
That was the thing for our hardest part.
Was the project worth it in the end?
In the end, at least we got a satisfaction from the other people who didn't do their job. Got a flunk. They failed their last weeks. They just failed from their classes.
Okay. Well, Fire said her thing. Okay. Lexi, you got anything? What was the hardest one you've done? And silence. So, Mike's still muted on her end. Okay, Minty.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess Lexi dropped again. She does that. Her internet does that.
Damn.
Okay, Minty, the floor is yours again.
Okay, the scene with Philly Luna lifting the bell and Luna's determination. The toughest part with that was to convey a lot of emotion without a single sound, besides the music itself. So the idea that I had to show her, try to convince her big sister to, you know, pay attention to her, that just to see the disappointment in her face, to just draw the eyes towards one place, while there was no close-up, besides, you know, there's a close-up of the bell, then you go to a wide shot where everything happens. And to draw the attention towards the one place you want everybody to pay attention to, without actually, without actually forcing the viewer to look at someone by cutting with close up, or even no cue from one of the characters talking, because that's one of the things that could also help for that.
Did it frustrate you?
It did. That and matching the shot where you have Luna just dropping the bell, because the bell itself moves, and as it goes from one cut to the other, I needed the bell to be around the same place in the frame.
I bet so you were saying some words like "fuck, fuck, fuck."
Yeah, but I couldn't put those words on the video itself.
I know.
So just the idea that you had Luna just going to grab the bell, obviously with her magic, since she's not very good at it at that moment. She basically tries to grab it, but Star Swirl grabs it before her, and he basically takes the bell, and then he turns to her because she's running and he hears her. So having that reaction and making the actual reaction time feel natural, because, you know, it takes at least half a second for someone to react to something. So getting that half a second to fit within the very tight pacing of the scene, it was very tough as well. So just having those head turns, you having that moment where you basically have Star Swirl giving her the bell and realizing, yeah, you need my help, and then having that moment where he goes to help, and actually it's a kind of a callback the way he goes to help when he puts his hoof directly on her heart. If you look at Luna, how she went to Scootaloo in Sleepless in Ponyville. She did the exact same thing. So it was one of those nods I felt would be appropriate. Yeah, also the fact that I had to make it seem like he said something that meant something, but you don't hear what he says. So just trying to find the right phonemes that kind of sound like something that sounds like a good advice. So what I had in mind was let the magic flow through you, because it just went short and felt like, you know, something you'd say to someone if you were to teach him magic. So getting it to feel natural was really tough, and that and the layering, because the cape itself, well, I say cape, the cloak was basically reacting like there was some actual wind, and getting it done involved lots of frame by frame to actually draw the movement. So yeah, I think that's my hardest shot so far.
Well, geez.
Yeah.
That seems like a hard time to do. John, why are you being so silent?
Just shooting a text, that's all. Anyways, oh God. Okay. Fire.
Hi.
Now, here's something that I gotta ask you.
Oh boy.
How long does it take you to get your animations done?
For like, instead of animatics?
Yeah.
Instead of animatics, animations are gonna be like 1.5 or 2 years.
Yeah, some of them too. I could see that, because the animation I did a long time ago in school took me a whole semester. That's half a whole year just to do 1 minute video. What about you, Mint?
It depends on the story.
Yeah.
My goal is usually a production that takes 8 months at best.
Oh shit!
Although that doesn't happen like that.
Nope.
Yeah, the thing though is that every time I work in an animation, I don't want to just do the same stuff as before. So there's a lot of things that I want to go as an improvement. If you looked at the Toon Boom rigs that I've talked about, just creating those took me at least 2 months. You know, 2 months that I shared on other stuff as well, but still 2 months to actually get that result. So just getting used to the actual software with its all of this intricacies and lots of very tricky parts. Just the way that the timeline works is very different. So just getting that part done was a long time. Though I think it might be worth, you know, I think it might be worth that investment, because the actual rig, since it behaves more like a 3D rig, it means much better head turns. I can actually do stuff that actually feels smooth without worrying too much about the about redoing every frame or trying to match the perspective of the head movement, because in that case, the actual 3D movement is technically accurate. So yeah, that means that the production is going to take a lot of time. I have some steps that I've tried to perfect. Well, not perfect as in trying to get the best result, also get a very effective result in not too much time, because there's the 80-20 rule that that says that to get to 80% of the result, it's gonna take half the time, and to get that other 20% is gonna take another half. So just being able to get the to get that result is gonna take much more time. There's some stuff that I can cheap out a bit because those are not my priorities. I see that it might take too much time for it, even though that doesn't actually impact the story that I want to tell.
Yeah, because you gotta do the writing for the story first, then you gotta do the artwork, and then you gotta do the editing. And welcome back, Alexia. And then you have to go write software, and then eventually you have to plan it. Yeah, it does take a long time to do animation. So Alexia, so just to update you, we're on the topic on how long it takes to get an animatic or animation done. And Fire and Minty already said how long it takes them. What about you?
Oh shoot. For what I'm doing right now, it probably takes me a few weeks.
Depending on the video or audio you work with.
Or I can say no matter what, anything I'm doing, the base is just, it will take more than a week.
Wow.
Then it also depends on how much time I have anyway.
So, okay, all those questions got answered. Now, here's the next part of the stream. This one's fun. Do any of you got any upcoming projects you wish to show to the stream or demo to the stream? Because you're allowed to use screen share here. You're allowed to do that.
Mine's a secret.
Okay, that's no for Fire.
Well, I guess I could show some of the stuff I've been working on for one of the scenes of my project that could be very interesting for you, but where is it? Not camera, screen share. And there we go. That's one of the matte paintings I've been working on for my scene. And you're not mistaken, it takes that long just to zoom and unzoom, just because the graphics acceleration and Photoshop doesn't work for me right now. So just the idea of creating an environment. In this case, it's a 3D environment that I worked on and then painted over, just to make it feel more natural.
Wow, that looks really good.
And afterwards, I'm going to put a bit of filtering to make it look a bit more paint-like, because I think it looks too CG at the moment. I want to avoid making the mistake that the MLP movie has made, where it felt very a bit too soft, and you kind of felt like everything was a bit 3D in terms of control art.
Oh, I get it.
There's other stuff that I've been rendering, like for example this one. If you look at seriously, there we go. Just that for the ambient occlusion pass, just to get the
oh my, just Minty, you should make the next MLP video game.
Okay, let me explain to you a little thing about this render. What render time would a video game need to be to be effective?
A long ass time.
No, a video game needs to render a frame every 30. Well, either that or once in a while, for some games it needs to render 30 frames, 20 frames a second. It depends on the games. That one, if I remember right, took at least an hour to render.
Whoa! What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Graphics in movies and video games are a long story.
Wow.
Yep.
And Alexia, welcome back again. Is it your computer acting up?
No, it's not my computer. I just keep getting called to do things.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Graphics.
How long did it take you to do the artwork for this, like to draw it out?
The 3D model was not too long. I just figured, yeah, it might take a while, but at least the idea that I have a 3D model that can move around means I'm gonna decide the perfect angle and get it right every time, instead of actually making a background and not being satisfied and trying to patch it up or trying to fix it to get the right angle, which is not very easy with 2D stuff. So just the idea that I have this background that can move around. And for example, just in this one, if you look at the, the effects, the way everything has some light, it's not something you would be able to do too well in 2D. So also that way I can actually have some colors that I can actually try to match. That and for example, I have the characters that I can actually animate in Toon Boom above. Well, in this case, it's a screen cap because all I need is just to match a perspective, but just be able to go and.
Now, question: if
Yeah.
anyone was trying to learn how to do animations in that particular style, what kind of software would you recommend for a beginner?
Flash, Blender. Well, Blender is it's free, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Flash is much easier to get started with.
Oh, I've used Blender. I actually animated several trees moving actually really good, and I was actually pretty proud of it. Mm-hmm. But continue.
And the idea that you can actually get started with it means that after after you've reached the most of the possibilities you can do with Blender, you can learn other 3D software. In my case, I learned Maya, which is much more complicated in terms of everything.
By the way, Minty. Roy says hi to you.
Oh, say hi.
Minty says hi, Roy. He's in the stream texting.
Whoops.
I'm keeping an eye on it. So
yeah, the actual 3D scene, and I think I can actually try to use the okay, I don't think. Yeah, that's one of the problems with the built-in light engine. It's very approximative. You get an idea of how it's gonna look like in terms of angle, but if you want to move some lights, you're kind of screwed.
So, Fire, what do you think of that?
I'm actually impressed.
Woohoo!
Lexi, what do you think of that?
Dedication at the max, yo. Too bad I don't have that time.
Like, I have the time to do something like that, but it's just like everything keeps me busy. Like, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to get this video.
Yeah. I couldn't have that time even if I wanted to.
I'm trying to get a better computer right now so I can do that.
What kind of better computer are you thinking of?
Well, you started on a laptop, didn't you, Minty?
Yep.
Maybe you gotta stop using Apple.
I'm not using Apple for my next one. I'm going to.
Good.
I need a new laptop because this one's getting old.
Good.
So I'm thinking either what's a good one for animation. I might thinking of I have a bit of money now, so I'm thinking of Alienware.
If you want to go with animation, don't go with a laptop.
No.
Just look at my CPU right now. There's a call and there's a few applications that run right now. Look at how much it takes right now. And in terms of CPU, RAM, So if you want to have big specs to animate, go with the desktop. If you want to animate on the side, get yourself a cheap laptop to do some spare tasks.
Mhm.
Because first of all, if you have a laptop, trying to find the zone to actually work on stuff is gonna almost always happen when you're alone and at home. So
Okay.
once in a while, you might have some ideas that you want to explore while you're at school, but that's stuff you can try to go with a cheaper laptop. And worst case scenario, you can always just remote desktop into your home computer instead, which is something I do a lot. So
True.
What kind of, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of desktop do you have?
it's an Intel Core i7 4790. It's basically a 4th gen quad core CPU with GTX 1050, which is a cheap graphics card. It's, it does the job. I don't need a big graphics card to make those renders.
Because you don't game.
Well, that too. I used to back in the days, but nah, not right now.
Okay. Oh, we actually got some questions. Okay, good. Roy says, "Is this all done in Flash? What you're doing right now, Minty?
Nope, I'm not touching Flash anymore.
What's it done by?"
Okay, so you've seen MLP the movie?
Yes, yes, I have.
Remember how different it felt? The way it was animated?
Yes, it was.
Yep, that's because they used Toon Boom.
Toon Boom?
Yep. If you compare, okay, this is Flash. And basically with Flash, you try to do your best with the tools you have. Let's see, window, workspace, animator. And you basically have those tools. It's basically just a drawing program that has symbols that you can use to actually, for example, you can tween those symbols, but that's basically it. While Toon Boom is much more complicated. If you look, for example, just at this node graph, just the idea that, for example, this node, okay, let me disable it. Just that, using those nodes, I have this node set just for spike. If I want to move a part, so if I want to move this.
Holy crap.
Yep. Seriously? What the?
Technical difficulties.
John, your face is a technical difficulty.
Ouch!
Oh!
Well, it can be, especially when I'm trying to get it to look good in the morning.
Oh
yeah,
shit, that looks good.
Yep, that's basically just because the inside of his head is made so it.
Sorry.
Basically, inside of his head is made so it fits within the side of his skull.
It looks like he has a beak or a cookie.
So you basically can do that, and the eye won't show the outside. It's not even 3D in that case. So I basically can do some more interesting movements like that without worrying about the eye overlapping.
Also,
and
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Also, we got.
if you really
Go ahead.
You could do crazy stuff.
Yeah. If you look, for example, here's Twilight. Twilight Sparkle, and let's find the head rotation peg. There we go.
Okay, we have another question. This one's for all of us. By Destroyer. He's like, got a small question for you all. Which is the greatest episode for you all from season 8 of MLP?
I haven't seen all of season 8 so far. Well, at least not all that has been released.
Well, I think what he means by the ones that are out right now, out of all the episodes that are out.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I haven't seen all of them that are out. Somehow I missed some of them, and I kind of didn't have the time to actually get to watch the remaining ones.
Well, ones that made me laugh would probably be Horseplay. That one made me laugh so hard. So that one was good. And I don't want to say a couple of the other ones since you haven't seen it, Minty, because I don't want to spoil anything.
Well, I haven't seen the rest of them. I only stopped from episode 5. But my favorite one was a good episode. It was Granny's Gone Wild.
Oh my god. That title screwed up so many reviewers.
Try not to talk about the episode too much because there is people in here that in the chat that are saying they haven't seen season 8 yet.
Yeah. Well, I did like Horseplay because it did cover one of the things I wanted the show to cover for a long time. Because the Journal of the Two Sisters described the events and all, so I was thinking, yeah, it could be interesting if the show actually talked about it. So. So they basically just retold the same story. So there was not a lot of they didn't do a lot more to it, but it was quite enjoyable nonetheless. So.
What about you, Alexia?
I've only seen up to season 6. Sorry.
Oh,
dang!
Wow.
Oh God.
Actually, no,
I'm
I
sorry.
can't. I can't be
I
like
really
that.
don't have the time.
Yeah.
I
Anyways,
can't be like that. A friend of mine is still at like.
Well, I don't want to sound like Pinkie Pie, but you're gonna have to make the time.
Okay.
Time is candy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Minty, Roy also asked, "Where'd you get Toon Boom?" Because he's a beginning animator. He's doing animations, and he was wondering where you can get that software.
Oh, just toonboom.com. They basically have the. Actually, let me. .com. And there we go.
I guess we're just booming into action.
So one of the things, if you're a student, there's the education tab, and if you look, they're gonna offer some special prices. Personally, I went with premium because a lot of the features of Toon Boom that I love are only available with premium. Or, for example, the idea that I can have 3D models within my 2D scene is a feature that they haven't put in Essentials or Advanced. So, for example, in my current project, Celestia has a crown that is made in 3D. So the idea that you have you actually get to see that crown actually move in 3D wouldn't have been possible if I used Advanced or Essential. So basically they offer that. If you buy it, they require a credit card. But otherwise, as a student, you get a lot of stuff for very cheap per month. I think $23 Canadian a month is a pretty good deal. At least in my opinion. So, and yeah, it's literally just toonboom.com. It's sold by the company, so you don't need to actually go through another source to actually get that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh girl.
Triggered.
Oh boy. You have no idea how hard it is to animate. You have to make like a ton of drawings that kind of look the same but a bit moved. And then you
Oh,
have
no idea.
and then you have to
Brian.
go one after the other, but by very fast. And if you do that right, well, the kids are gonna be happy.
Okay.
Stop. I'll cry.
You sound like you. Oh my god. What the fuck?
Oh my god, life is such a beautiful thing.
War flashbacks.
To the war.
For me, it's war flashbacks.
Worf? Oh my god. Wait,
As far as like back in Nam.
Back in my day.
Flashbacks of the flashbacks.
Like fire, it's like war flashbacks. She's like back in Nam. We didn't have no fancy MLP. Back in
My future is a flashback.
my life's a flashback.
well, back in my days, My Little Pony was a show that my girl watched. They had only like 2 seasons, and they did just parties and defeating evil and all.
It was a party
The-
every night back then.
We didn't have those bronies. If you had guys who liked it, they didn't talk probably about it.
God.
That's actually true, actually.
They just claimed that they liked it for the bad guys. But they're lying. They liked it because of the cute ponies. I know because I was one of them.
Oh my god.
It's Minty's future herself.
Who's that Minty wrote?
I don't know. I heard
I
he was
like that one guy from the top 15 videos a bit.
Top 15? Oh my god.
There's a lot of top 15 channels.
No, it's like that one guy that has like this nerdy-ish voice. It's like he just has a unique voice.
Number 15.
have minty root on
Burger
top
King
10.
foot lettuce.
Number 9.
And here at number 1.
Number 9.
Here in 10 facts about minty root.
What's
Oh,
what's the,
God.
what's the point of being a number 1 if there's no other numbers? That's an actual quote from the Emoji Movie.
Oh!
You actually saw that movie?
Nope, just that quote.
I was just like, Minty, you saw a shitty
Why
movie.
can't numbers just like not exist?
You're telling me that like it was something that I didn't know.
Minty, I'm joking. Calm down.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was basically I was in the elevator today. I was basically going downstairs to go grab myself a sandwich, and there was one of the guys who was watching the trailer for the new Spider-Man movie, the animated Spider-Man movie. He looks at it. They're like, "Wow!" And I just turned to him and just said, you know, it's from the creators of the emoji. Well, it's from the same studio as the Emoji Movie.
Oh, hold on. Destroyer says, well, I have to go. It's 26 a.m. here, and better I have to go to work. So, next one. Bye me. Bye Fire. Bye everyone. Bye Minty. Destroyer says that. So long.
Whoa, they said everyone's name but mine.
Ouch!
Damn.
I know, right?
Don't worry.
I know it's not fun to feel left out.
It's Destroyer.
I always feel left out.
It's Destroyer. Don't worry. Actually, it's funny thing about Destroyer, Minty? Every time something funny happens in one of these live streams, he does fan art of it.
Oh.
And actually, surprisingly, his comic strips he does are actually very funny. He actually is friends with me on Facebook. He sends me them. So, yeah, he's a cool dude. Weasley said
Cool
the
dude.
Emoji Movie made my eyes blind, and it hurts. XD. So what did you think of the Emoji Movie, Minty?
Okay. Have you ever ate a vegan hot dog?
No.
Vegan burger?
No.
Have you ate a vegan version of anything that has meat usually?
Yeah, vegan.
Okay. The Emoji Movie kind of feels like that. It tries to pretend to have the meat of a real movie, but it has none of that. And unlike movies like Wonder Woman, where they cannot, it kind of feels like some kind of imitation of the real thing. But yeah, in the case of Wonder Woman, it tastes, it's a good movie. With the Emoji Movie, it just feels like it's trying to be a better movie that exists, but without having the right to reference it.
Exactly.
The fact that it's that much trying to be a copy of the Lego Movie, but without understanding what made the Lego Movie that good. Like, for example, the way that the product placement was done was that there were references to stuff that a kid would act, the way that the kid would actually refer to them. The fact that they made a lot of joke at the expense of those brands, and they actually had lots of fun doing that. For example, just the idea that Batman just shows up in the team and just the way he acts. It just feels like someone just Batman is just thought, hey, he kind of looks cool. He would be fun in that movie, rather than Warner that just says, yeah, you have to put Batman in it and do that kind of list of stuff because it makes our investors happy.
Exactly.
And yeah, the Emoji Movie kind of doesn't have a message. It's trying to tell you to basically, phones are making us dumber. Then it tells you that phones are making us better. And yeah, it's basically Sony trying to push you to buy a phone. And ironically enough, nobody buys their fucking phone. Because they're priced like flagship phones, but they don't have the specs of flagship phones.
Yeah.
Back in the days, they had
back in the day.
like 3 or 4 years ago, I was trying to get myself a new phone to replace the one I had, and I was recommended a Sony phone because it was waterproof. It had lots of features that looked cool. At the end, I didn't get it, but it looked interesting. But I realized later that it was kind of shit. So Sony is basically advertising a product that they don't advertise, despite putting advertisements for a lot of other stuff. Because they're kind of ashamed, but not enough, of being a product placement movie. And if you think about it, the Lego Movie would be product placement as well, but it captures the spirit of the brand, as well as capturing why, it captures the bad side as well. Just the idea that you have, some people trying to take the brand and treat it like, some kind of art form.
Yeah.
It kind of plays against that argument a bit. But you kind of also see why they would like it. Like the father trying to make his own city of Legos. It just feels like
okay. Yeah, I get where you're going from. Okay, so oh, now Roy's got another question. Okay, though this one's for all of us again. He's like, everyone, question: who's your favorite background character in Equestria Girls and in MLP?
This is like a background character, not side characters, right?
Yeah, background.
Okay.
Anyone could go first on this one.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go first. I think I like Cloud Kicker, maybe.
Oh, good choice.
Cloud Kicker, yeah, just always liked her for some reason.
I gotta say, one thing that she has that no other background pony has, her eyelashes, the way that they designed them to just have a unique expression on her face.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, her sister has very boring eyes, but for her it works. So,
Okay, Fire. Before you fall asleep, I'm just kidding.
I'm about to pass out.
It's your turn, Fire.
Berry punch.
Not bad.
Unless I can go with base Rose.
Rose
Rose or berry punch.
Yeah, two good choices. I might have a controversial choice for a best background pony. Derpy Hooves. But not for the reason you're thinking of. She's basically a middle finger at Hasbro. Because you know how Hasbro is trying to push... they're trying to push their brand with lots of pink stuff. Pink, purple, very colorful stuff. And they try to make it mostly candy colored, very sugary. Derpy Hooves is the least marketable pony you could think of, but kids love her. She's gray, yellow. She has yellow eyes. Her trademark is just bubbles.
She's a good character.
She likes muffins, and muffins are kind of boring if you ask any kids, except when I was a kid. But it's because I could get some muffins at school, so it was always nice, especially the one with the chocolate chips. But the idea that you have a character that is against all of the stuff that people would think would make a marketable character and still be that popular makes her very interesting as a character. Also, she's really cute.
Indeed, she is.
Okay, so we had Alexia say her, we had Fire say hers.
It's your turn.
Oh, shit. I mean, well, for background characters, oh, fuck. Let's see.
Thanks. Now you're demonetized.
When was I ever monetized?
Oh, it's true. YouTube decided to screw the rules again.
Yeah, they took monetization away from everybody. Yeah, so okay, I can do this. I think I'll start with Equestria Girls for now. I think it would be one of the what were the in the third movie? What were they called? What was that group called?
The Dazzlings?
No, that's in the second movie.
one.
The second one.
Crystal Prep.
Students.
Yeah, well, that's the name I'm thinking of. Unless they have more.
I like the one that says, "Are we gonna win?" I can't remember her name.
The girls who kind of resemble Rainbow Dash?
A little bit, yeah. What blue hair? She had blue hair.
Zap? Was Zap her name?
Maybe. Actually, let me check it out on TMLP Wiki.
Yeah, because I liked her character because I liked her personality and stuff like that.
Let's see what Mr. Wiki has to say.
Oh yeah, there's an Equestria Girls Wiki. Okay, so characters. Indigo Zap.
Yep.
Yep.
I liked Indigo Zap. Now, as for the show, as for MLP the show, favorite background character would be the same as yours, Minty.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah, because I like Derpy's personality and her design is cool. And I think a lot of the controversy in that one is because she's a character that kind of stands up for the people who have disabilities. That's how the controversy first started when she first introduced. I think that was the main thing. Kind of nice to have a character in the show that kind of sticks up for represents some of the things.
Also, a lot of people try to make a big deal out of because the problem is that she's supposed to be seen as clumsy, and the problem is that some people saw that as a form of mental disabilities. And the problem is that when they changed the voice to try to make her less of a stereotype of that, they made her sound like a jerk. So yeah, they kind of shot themselves in the foot the second time.
The first time Derpy was introduced, wasn't it Tabitha that did her voice?
I think so, and I'm pretty sure she still stayed with that voice. At first, I thought that when she returned, they asked Andrea Lipman, Andrea Lipman to do Derpy this time, because I was thinking of more Fluttershy-esque voice.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, no, they just went with Tabitha again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we covered a lot of topics. Oh my god, how long have we been recording?
Too long?
It's been ages.
Actually, we've been recording for 1 hour.
It's been 10,000 years.
We've been recording for 1 hour and almost 3 minutes. That's 13 minutes.
Look here, Sonny.
This is really starting to make the back hurt.
Oh, back in my days, it started the call. I never thought it would end.
Back in my day, when I first found the Phantom, we had to go to New York to go to BronyCon, but it's not there anymore. It got moved to Baltimore.
Back in my days, we used Hangout for our calls. It was so awkward and clumsy. But nowadays, you have Discord, which is implanted in your brain.
Wait a minute.
Oh my god.
Are we using Hangouts to do this live stream on?
What?
The fudge? You don't even know what you're streaming on?
Well, you know, you're streaming, so there's that.
Yeah. Okay, I had a brain fart. Okay, I have brain.
No, we're all just, the audience is just our imagination.
Sadly.
Actually, because of my mess up, actually, some people in the audience are actually laughing. There is laughing symbols. Okay. I think. Do you guys want to say anything else, or should we wrap this up?
Ooh, well, I got a new speed paint that's gonna be coming out soon. 3 days, if I want to be specific.
Cool.
I would actually like to see it.
Yeah, it's a kind of a surprise though, but
so
yeah.
you can't.
Paint coming out. It's someone's birthday in 3 days. Speed paint's coming out.
Oh, I was looking at my date and I was like, wait, what?
Yep.
Wait,
Okay, well, Weasley had to go.
Yeah.
Okay, Weasley, Weasley, and I'll see you on the next stream then. Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm out of topics. So yep.
Okay. You got your answer.
What?
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 Skedaddle. Skedaddle. Skedaddle.
Okay, I'll do the outro now. Okay. Well, everyone, this was Podcast with Friends, and this was the animation edition. I really hope you enjoyed the lineup. And thank you to all my friends who came to this podcast again. It was really cool to see you guys all here again. And thank you to everyone who came down. I will have the links of these 3 YouTubers' channels in the description. So thank you, Minty, Lexia, and Firestorm.
Born.
Really? 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 Right at the end of the time?
Yep.
So anyways, before I get interrupted again, I will see, I guess, stay frosty, my friends, and I will see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye. Porn.
Are we now offline?